President Trump today said the U.S. is getting a tremendous fee in a TikTok deal. This comes ahead of his call with Chinese President Xi Jinping tomorrow. The president says under the new arrangement, TikTok in the United States would be owned by all American investors. Democratic Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi joins us now from Capitol Hill. He represents Illinois' 8th District. Congressman, so great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
So I want to ask you, are there any national security guarantees that would satisfy you when it comes to reaching an agreement that President Trump says is on the verge?
Oh, absolutely. We want TikTok to survive. We just don't want it to be under the control of the Chinese Communist Party. The deal needs to comply with the law. And so ByteDance can't have more than 20% ownership of TikTok USA. And there can't be operational relationships between ByteDance and the new entity such that, basically the CCP would use a backdoor to gain access to data, violate people's privacy, and, undermine the reason for the law.
And so it sounds like you don't think the president should enforce a total TikTok ban, that there is a way forward to have both national security and this very popular app.
Oh, absolutely. I think that all along we've wanted to preserve TikTok, just not under the control of the CCP. And so that's the purpose of the law, to make sure that we protect Americans and our national security at the same time that we protect the ability of people to enjoy the platform.
And Congressman, I want to turn to a potential government shutdown because House Speaker Mike Johnson says Republicans could vote on a stopgap bill to keep the government funded tomorrow. Democrats have unveiled a plan of their own that includes health care funding extensions, which is very unlikely to pass. So how are you going to meet in the middle here?
I think it's time to negotiate. I think it's incredibly important for the millions of Americans who are about to get basically taxed if the Republicans don't extend these tax credits. To basically see their premiums go up by 2 or 3 times. It's time to help them. We have to make sure that innocent people aren't harmed and innocent people don't lose their health care because of the Republicans on this particular issue.
I want to turn now to, the news we've been talking about a lot today, which is Jimmy Kimmel's suspension. You have said that it is a violation of the First Amendment. And I know Democrats have launched investigations into the move and into FCC Chair Brendan Carr. How realistic is it to think that these investigations will do anything, will actually change this decision or make a difference?
Well, look, I think we have to hold everyone accountable. There has to be sunshine and transparency as to what's going on. In the Oversight Committee today, we actually voted on a subpoena to bring Mr. Carr before us to answer questions. At the end of the day, the Republicans defeated that motion for a subpoena, but the chairman did agree to work with us to bring Mr. Carr before the committee to answer a number of questions that we have. The biggest question is this, in my mind, which is, are we going to basically undertake a full assault on people's First Amendment rights as a government? I think that's completely unconstitutional, illegal, and it's not the way to go. But we need to understand, what are their plans? Is this what they plan to do? Basically censor different comedians, censor different news stations, personalities based on their viewpoint? If so, we need to know that right now.
And if it turns out that the answer is yes, what can Congress do about that?
Well, I know what I'm going to do. I would absolutely use the power of the purse to make sure that there are restrictions on their funding. I'm not going to fund any agencies that are going to violate people's constitutional rights. We need to bring transparency to the situation and then use the power of the purse as well as our oversight responsibilities to prevent it from happening. That is holding the government accountable. We can't allow this to continue.
Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi, thank you so much for your time today.